I don't usually let the space dictate my writing. And I've done a lot of residencies, but this is the only one and the first one where the space got to me. For me, I think Julian offered, in a 12-year-old's mind, my definition of God. And I wasn't really religious, I've never been religious, but having gone through so many different religious schools, I mean, I went a Catholic kindergarten, Buddhist kindergarten, and then Lutheran elementary school. I mean, you get this sense, really warped sense of what God is.
Yeah.
Or in your 12-year-old mind, it's a sense of fluidity that God has. There's a sense of God has different names. And I think Julian sort of made sense to me. And I remember feeling always like an outsider. Outsider from language, outsider from religion, outsider even from my own home. There was no real sense of safety. And I think in many ways, Julian offered that safety. The city itself, if it reveals too much secret quickly, it's not mysterious. So it gives you moments and fragments. This idea of walled city as well, where you have the river as a border on three sides, and then you have the walls. I live on Elm Hill, which is a beautiful, beautiful part. I mean, it's very medieval slash Renaissance. But then if you go to the city center, the marketplace, it's a different time and different moments. And then you have the church bells. I think one church finds that like 12:15. It's this odd hours because they're not competing with anybody else. And the apartment the flat that I lived in for the month, it was just a joy. It's right across from Norwich Cathedral, and there's this Italian restaurant right behind it. And there's a vent, and I think it's a wife and a husband, and they're constantly bickering. But they have I think they're Italian and Spanish, but they speak in English, but it's a very inflected and refracted English. And there is also Take 5, right across, and so I hear people stumbling out, and I think the idea of fragments sort of derived from my interest in erasure. What's not being said is more potent than what's being said, and the way how words collide. So when I was working, throughout this month I had about 5 texts open at the same time, and I'll write one line in one sentence, and then that will be echoed in different texts, but in a different phrasing. So there's always a sort of lingering of notes. It's almost like weaving a textile in that sense. After working on a very political and historical subjects for the past 10 years, it's a very personal one.
Yeah.
Personal in a way that it's in talking about women's agency, about rooms, domesticity, textiles. For me, it's always been easy to write the first draft. I mean, something like 5,000 words could take me 2 weeks. I mean, I'm a very fast writer in first draft, but it's a revision. And it's like, it's a lot like Julian's process. I have no idea, so I'll keep reading and rereading it and rereading it and fixing it. And usually the history of all my books is about 10 years. I've been trying to get into Los Alamos for the past 2-3 years, and my citizenship has barred me. But it's a project that I started maybe 2 years ago called Unmapped Places. And it's examining the route of the bomb, atomic bomb, backwards from Hiroshima to Tinian, Los Alamos, Oak Ridge, New York, where Manhattan Project was sort of had an office. But it's about these sort of places that are secrets that didn't exist on the map.
Right.
But that's going to take me probably about 10 years again to, I think Norwich got under my skin.
Well, it's a pleasure, and I hope that we can invite you back again.